Hi there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Aoife. I hope you enjoyed last week's haul video. This week's video is going to be something a little bit different. It's kind of like a little story time with Aoife, I suppose. You're probably thinking, oh, but I expected this to be a university advice video, or what to do if you didn't get your first choice in the CAO. I really do feel like I am nowhere near qualified to give you advice on university, since my university experience is vastly different from all of my friends because of the kind of the course that I do, since I study dance and music instead of studying something like, I don't know, history. So I don't have the traditional college experience, so I can't really give you advice on what to do if you're late for a lecture, or like, I don't know, how to study for exams, because I don't have to worry about any of that, thank God. I really can't give anyone any advice on what to do if you didn't get your first choice in the CAO, because I was lucky enough to get my first choice in the CAO. I suppose the only real advice I can give you is that I'm a firm believer in everything happens for a reason. So if you didn't get it, hopefully you will soon see the reason behind why you didn't get it. And who knows, maybe you would have hated your first choice and you will absolutely adore the choice that you did get. So I want to say well done to everyone who did get their results and their choices over the last couple of days, and I hope you are all very happy with it. It's actually ironic that I have an Anna water bottle, because this is a Disney story. Oh, how much fun. Hey. I said last week during my video that I would maybe do a video on this topic, so I have decided that I will do a video on this topic because it's just something fun for people to watch if they're a bit sad. This is kind of the backstory as to why I decided to audition to work in Disneyland. There's kind of a two-part backstory. So in March 2016 I got on a plane with my mom and my friends and my whole dancing school basically, and we flew from Dublin to Charles de Gaulle, and then got a bus from Charles de Gaulle to the Hotel Cheyenne in Disneyland Paris, because we were going to perform at the Cinématique Theatre in the Hollywood Studios in Disneyland Paris. On the 22nd of March 2016 is when we performed at 10 o'clock in the morning, I think it was, and I had the best time. I might insert a couple of photos now. So I had the best time with some of the best people. I have a lot of very good friends in dancing, and unfortunately not all of them were able to make it because of school and college and other commitments and stuff, but the ones that did go, we had a great time. So while I was there, I was talking to the girl who was like our handler for the morning. So her name was Alex, she was lovely. And I was talking to her and I was explaining to her that part of my college course we have to do this thing called cooperative education placement, which is where we basically go and work in something to do with our course for 8 months. So I was asking her, like, how do I go about working for Disneyland? And she was like, oh, there's an audition process. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, great. And I was like, okay, so like where and when? So she actually kind of had a bit of an insider tip for me, and she told me exactly when and where the Dublin audition was going to be that year, kind of a couple of months before it came out to the general public. So I was kind of being like, great, yeah, go and do this. So it was the audition was meant to be in June. It was in June, and I was meant to go. And then I was like, well, what's the point in going in June if my co-op isn't until this time next year? I'll wait and see if there's any auditions in kind of December, January time for when I need my co-op. So I decided that I wasn't going to go website every week for 3 or 4 months, and then I found a audition in, where was it? It was in Montpellier in France at the end of January, and I was like, perfect, I will take a green form so in my course we can take green forms to miss dates from college for auditions or performances that will like progress us as a performer. So I was like, that's perfect, I'll take a green form for 3 days, I'll fly over the day before the audition, do the audition, and fly home the day after. I was going to go with my mum, and we were trying to figure out how to get from Dublin to Montpellier. So I was like, well, obviously we fly to Charles de Gaulle and then just drive, because for some reason we thought it was near Paris, but it's actually like a 7-hour drive away from Paris. So I was like, nah ma, it's fine, we'll leave it. So I continued to look at the website waiting for the Dublin one to pop up, and then, praise be the Lord, I found the perfect audition. I was like, ma'am, wait until you see this. And she was like, what? I was like, so there is an audition on in London in March. So March this year, so we're in 2017 now. So I was like, there's an audition on in London in Pineapple Dance Studios. The audition was the 13th of March, it was a Monday. So we booked the plane tickets, booked a hotel in King's Cross, because King's Cross, so Pineapple Dance Studios is in Covent Garden, and King's Cross is a 20-minute walk from Covent Garden, and you can get a tube straight from King's Cross station to Covent Garden tube station. So I was like, well, it's really accessible, we'll stay in King's Cross. We were like, Mum was like, okay. So to prepare for the audition, I watched loads of videos just like this one that I'll go into like what the audition was like in a few minutes. So I watched videos, essentially I watched loads of these kind of videos, and I specifically targeted London audition ones. One video that I watched in particular, she done like 3 or 4 auditions all in London, and she said like it says it starts at, is it 9 or 10? I can't, it either started at 9 or 10, and she said that if you're not there at least an hour before, you'll be like at the back of the queue. It's very naive basically going into this audition. So come the day of the audition, I'm pretty sure it was at 9. Yeah, it was at 9 because I was up at like 7 or something, and I put on a little pair of like Nike like leggings, and I wore like good shoes, like good like training shoes, and I wore one of my good like Victoria's Secret sports bras, and I wore like a nice Jack Wills like top over it, because I didn't want to look like I was going to work out too much. I wanted to look like kind of casual. And I turned up anyway, and there was a huge queue. I was like, holy shit. It was like 8:15 when I turned up. I was like, oh my god, this is ridiculous. It kind of like, it came out from the doors and went around the block and kind of halfway up, and I was about halfway up. And I was in the queue, and I was like, oh shit. My mum said she'd stay with me in the queue until I kind of started getting a bit chatty with someone around me or something. And there was this really nice girl that turned up behind me, and I was chatting to her, and then a friend of hers came and they started talking to me, and my mum was like, okay, I'll go, I'll see you later, text me when you're out. So this lady kind of like came down the queue and started handing out numbers, and the 2 girls had done a couple of Disney auditions, and they're like, oh, this isn't normal, there must be loads of people, I must be expecting loads of people. And I was like, geez, okay. And they kind of said it to the woman who gave us the numbers. They're like, oh yeah, this is for Disneyland. And she was like, no, this is for Rock of Ages. And we were like, oh shit. She's like, the Disney line is the other side. And we were like, oh my god, because this was like, I say kind of 8:30, 20 to 9. We were like, oh, we're never getting in now. So we kind of like scooted out of the queue really quickly, and we like ran around, and there was like 15 people in the queue for Disney, and we were like, oh, thank god. So obviously loads of people thought that the Rock of Ages queue was for the Disney queue, because once we got into the queue, it just started filling like crazy. We got let up anyway, a little like sticky number you stick onto yourself, and then you're handed a little form, and the form is just like your name, your date of birth, your age, where you're from, how you heard about the audition, if you have any medical illnesses, if you have any like injuries, and when you can start work. You fill that out, you hand that up to them, and then they kind of like look at that as you're going through the process. And then the first thing you do, which is a bit weird, but it does have on the, so this is the audition process I'm going through now. So on the posters, most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, they're actually looking for, you have to be specific heights to go to the audition. So they're obviously looking for specific characters who fall under different height kind of levels and stuff. So you're like, you keep this sheet, and then you go and you get like your height taken, and then they write your height on the sheet, and you go over and you hand it to like a panel, and they're like, oh, thank you, blah, 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 and then they like sort them into little piles. Then the next thing is they just give you a talk on what like the job involves and what you have to do and all that sort of stuff. And that was actually really interesting, kind of learning a bit more about, you know, the secrets of Disney, I suppose, and what exactly I'd be expected to do every day. And that I actually found the talk very interesting. It takes about kind of 20 minutes to a half an hour, and I was like, oh no, keep going, I want to learn more. I really did enjoy that talk. But I think I enjoyed it so much because I was so nervous about the next part. So the next part is called like animation. I call it charades. They call it improv animation, but to me it was charades. They kind of give you like 6 different, like, not specifically give you Disney characters, except for some of them you have to like act it out for like 8 counts, like going in a different direction and stuff. So I was terrified to that part. I was like, no, not gonna, no. See, I was so nervous. I hated it. I was like, I'm not going to be any good at this. I'm not going to be good. I wasn't good. This is where I fell down. Demonstrate what you want, kind of like what they want you to do, but obviously they're like, oh, don't copy what we done exactly. So you're like, shit, okay, there's only so many ways you can pretend to be a cowboy walking forward. And I was like, oh, this is the end of the line. I knew right well I wasn't going to get any further than this because I was going to be awful at it. Because I think Irish people are like really afraid to be embarrassed. And I was like, oh, I'm so embarrassed. Even though I was in a room of 200 people who were doing the exact same thing as me, I was like, nah, no thank you. To be fair to me, you are given loads of chances to get comfortable with doing it. And then it's like 20 people. And then you're called into your little groups of 10. So like, you know, the number, so I was like 661, that was my number or something. So they had like from 660 to 669, like they do it together, and that's when they decide. So you do that like 3 times in the group of 10, and after the 3rd time they knock people out. Audition is kind of when they really start doing kind of publicly asking people to leave, but it's actually done in a very nice way. I didn't feel like I had failed at all. Call out your number and they're like, we'd like to thank you so much for coming to the audition today, and we really hope that we will see you in the future, but unfortunately today you've been unsuccessful in becoming a cast member in Disneyland Paris. But we really do hope to see you at auditions in the future, and we just want to say very well done for getting this far today, and we're like it's amazing. It's so Disney-like of them, and I thought it was like, it's a really nice way to deal with something that's very awkward and very like can be potentially very upsetting for certain people. I didn't feel like I had failed. I really genuinely didn't. Like, I was so proud of myself because that was the first kind of real audition since my audition for college that I had done. So even though I didn't get a job in Disneyland, it was a very positive experience for me. So Disney, if you're watching, please give me a job. No, if you're watching, I'd just like to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to be able to audition for your wonderful corporation, and hopefully in the future I will audition again and hopefully be successful. But I had a really good experience. I thought the overall whole experience of the audition was very positive. I never once felt like I had failed. I think that is how you should feel coming out of an audition. If you weren't successful, you shouldn't feel like a failure. You should feel like that was something that you had to do to progress as a person. I think it made me more confident. I think it made me more outgoing. I think it made me kind of believe in myself a little bit more. I enjoyed this video. It obviously won't interest everyone who is watching. Everyone is into dance or into performance, but everyone loves Disney, which is a fact of life, I suppose. Like and comment. Don't forget to like this video and leave a comment down below if you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you know when I make new videos, and hopefully I'll see you next week with a video with my friend Lydia. Bye!